Hey, this is Stacia, and I'm hoping to treat you guys to something special today. I've been assigned by my chess trainer, International Master Calvin Blocker, to study some games played by Harry Nelson Pillsbury, who I've heard of. And he was an American player, and he was quite awesome at chess, let's say, and he had a romantic attacking style. At least that's what I believe. And I also know that Grandmaster Ben Feingold really likes Harry Pilsbury and said that when he played white, he was like unstoppable. He would like make the strongest players of the time look like they were beginners. So that sets the stage for us looking at this particular game. So one thing, if you don't know this about Harry Pillsbury, is that he actually won one of the most famous tournaments of all time, Hastings 1895. So of course, I am borrowing a book called Pillsbury the Extraordinary by Andrew Soltis and Ken Smith. And they have some games from Hastings 1895. So I chose one. I saw that he played Sigbert Tarrasch. So I was like, ooh, that sounds interesting, right? Especially since I play the Tarrasch variation of the French. But I have not seen this game, or maybe I have, I don't know. I have not looked at this ahead of time is the point. What we're going to do is explore this game together. I'm not necessarily presenting the game to you. What we will do is go through the game together. And at times, I will likely slow down and we will try to guess what Harry would play in a particular position, try to understand the positions. Anyway, what I'm saying is this is not meant to be a quick recap, but an actual study of a game played by a strong player back in the day. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start this. Okay, so D4 was played, D5, C4. Okay, so this is a D4 opening. Okay, this is like, I used to play this way. And this is called the Queen's Gambit. I definitely know that. So let's see how Tarrasch treats it. Actually, I'm expecting he'll go e6, c5, right? Isn't that called the Tarrasch variation? I used to hate facing it, actually. So, okay, he does go e6. Knight c3 was played by Pillsbury. Now, when I was playing d4, I actually preferred the move knight to f3 because in this position, they couldn't play the Nimzo Indian. And in fact, when they would go here, I would transition into a Catalan, which I've noticed has become very topical at the highest levels of chess these days. And I do plan to play some Catalan myself. But anyway, Harry Pilsbury played knight to c3, which is more normal. But it does allow bishop b4, the Nimzo Indian. Okay, so let's see what Tarrasch did. He went knight to f6, so no c5 just yet. And then bishop g5. Okay, so as far as I know, this is all very, very mainline and common, but I've never played this move, bishop g5. But it doesn't seem to make sense to me. It pins the knight. It gets the bishop outside the chain. Maybe we can go e3. If they go h6, we have the option to preserve the bishop. But we also have the option to take. And anytime there's a pin here, we should be mindful of what the knight is doing. So, you know, perhaps we would take there. I don't know. I kind of doubt it. Or actually, we could play e4. That's probably a bigger threat, e4. So anyway, let's see. Oh, the book gives some commentary, so I will read this as we go. It says, at the time this game was played, this move was regarded as an eccentricity by most masters. Wow, okay. One even went so far as to opine that bishop g5 weakened white's queenside. Of course, nowadays it's known that bishop g5 is white's most aggressive line, but this is largely due to the efforts of Pillsbury, who played many brilliant games with it. Huh, interesting. I do understand why they say it weakens the queen side, why they said that though, because once you play e3, you do have to watch this diagonal. And okay, but I mean, in reality, it's totally fine and a good move. So Tarrasch played bishop b7. Now, if I was Pillsbury, I think I would just simply get on with development. So e3, knight f3, something along those lines. So let's see what he did. He played knight f3. Okay. So it's also quite possible is e3. Okay. And then knight bd7 was played. So that does look, this is a Calvin Blocker term, but it does look a bit constipating, right? Like he just blocked the bishop, he blocked the queen, and this just looks, you know, there's less defense of this pawn. But I don't think it's possible to take because that would actually unconstipate. I don't know. I don't even want to suggest a different word there. So it's probably fine as long as I think black is planning like this sort of thing. So I'm guessing, whoops, that is not what I meant to do. So I'm guessing that's what Tarrasch had in mind here. And yeah, I think I would just play e3 now. Okay, so let's see what Pillsbury did. So it actually says knight bd7. Black intends to Fanketto the queen's bishop, so he avoids placing the knight on c6, which would block the a8 to h1 diagonal. Yeah, so he wants to Fanketto. So don't put the knight here blocking that and blocking the c pawn. So yeah, this all makes a great deal of sense. Okay. So Pillsbury played rook c1. Okay. Maybe this is aimed at stopping c5 a little bit, you know, because we always have the option to possibly take here. And then the rook would mostly open up. I guess the knight's still in the way, though. So, okay, rook c1. And it says, envisioning possibilities of play on the c-file. In particular, white wishes to discourage the fraying move c7, c5. Oh, that's what I said. Okay, that makes me feel like I understand chess a little bit. Okay, so now Tarrasch castled. Yeah, and I mean, this is the only reason I don't like rook c1 right away, because like, why commit the rook when you haven't even played e3? Oh, but you know what? Maybe he's dreaming of playing e4. That could be. So I wonder if he'll do that. We'll have to see. Okay, so castles. No, he played e3, then b6. And it's saying that the move c5 would be a poor move. Let's try to understand that for a second. Yeah, if c5, we could probably take, let's say they take here, and it's giving c6 an exclam move. Exclam. Yeah, that's one of those disruption moves, as I call them. You know, because black is ready to take back in a variety of good ways. Although, why would black take on c4? I'm gonna see what the engine says, because I will check with the engine occasionally. Yeah, D takes C4, it likes the best. I'm kind of surprised by that. And then they're saying C6 is a good move. Well, that does attack the knight. And if they do this, you know, you have to look at the pawn structure and say, what is black doing? But white only has a slight edge according to the engine. Okay, but we will keep our engine analysis to a minimum. Actually, maybe we shouldn't use the engine. You know, that's kind of what I'm thinking now. So I think I'm done with it. I'm not going to use the engine anymore. And I'm not going to even use the notation. You know, let's pretend we're on a real chessboard and we are exploring a very exciting game played by an amazing player in the tournament of his life, Hastings 1895. Okay, let's continue now. So after castles, E3, B6. Okay. And Pillsbury here played C takes D. They just call it CD in the book. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so why did he do that? We probably do have to calculate a little bit before we play that move. I mean, one idea I think behind CD is that perhaps we want to go bishop D3. But if we go bishop D3 right now, I think black could take and we waste a tempo, which is a very common idea. So that could be one reason behind it. Why can't I get rid of the arrows? Another thing though is that once we take like this, I think we do have to calculate knight takes, which is a freeing maneuver. I've heard it called that before. And then we would likely have to trade on E7. Maybe not, but probably. I wonder if knight takes D5 is also a move there. Knight takes, bishop takes G5. No, I kind of doubt it, because then the knight doesn't have any good squares after that. Unless we're going to B4. But then I have to wonder if black can play C5 or something. So let's just look at what I was talking about real quick. I was thinking this, you know, this is what I feel like this kind of helps black. Although, if they take with a knight like that, then they do not have a pawn here. So I kind of do like that for us. And it makes E4 way more possible. Oh, and yeah, by the way, if they do this move, I've heard this idea before as well. It's a positional idea that once they commit the move B6, okay, weakening the light squares on this side. So clearly the bishop needs to come to one of these squares at this point, most likely B7. Then you can take here, because if they take with the E pawn, which normally would open up a bad bishop, you could argue that black unnecessarily played B6 now. And if they do put the bishop on B7, then there's really no consequence to opening up that diagonal there. So that is my feelings about that. Okay, we're spending a lot of time on the opening. Yeah, you guys know I love chess. This could be a long study. We'll see. All right, so CD, we'll see what the book says about this move. It says a good move which fixes a pawn on D5 and in turn blocks the A8 H1 diagonal. Well, yeah, that's curious to me because, oh, well, I guess, are they saying that this is possible? Because I thought they could do this. Actually, they can't, right? Because I could take. if they take here, I could take here. But they don't have to do that. They could take here. But then we did what they said. We fixed a pawn on d5. And maybe the bishop doesn't really want to be there anymore. Yeah, and I like the white light square bishop. And then we would have to retreat the knight, I suppose, or do something with it. I might even do that. But I'm crazy. And I like the idea that this might happen, so no, because of that. Okay, anyway. So let's see what Tarrasch did. CD and black played ED. Okay. So we're not really concerned about this, like I said, because the bishop is already committed to the queen side. Okay, and Harry Pilsbury played bishop d3, which is what I expected. So a bishop on d3, I've really come to appreciate over time. I don't think I appreciated it when I was a queen pawn player like I do now as a king pawn player. Because this bishop is very, very attacking. And I mean, there's Greek gift sacrifices, there's batteries, there's all kinds of ideas. He helps e4. That is just like, I do just call him like our attacking bishop now, because he's our attacking bishop. Okay, so bishop d3. Let's see what Tarrasch does. I think I would expect a move like h6, a move like bishop e7, maybe c5. So let's see what he actually did. He played bishop e7. Oh, by the way, the book says on bishop d3, it says the bishop assumes the classic attack diagonal, b1 to h7, from which it pressures the black king side. Yeah, okay. So now Pillsbury castled. I do like games from this time period. I feel like they were principled players for the most part, although Harry was considered eccentric a bit. But and then the romantic chess. So I'm very curious. I don't think I've seen this game, but I could be wrong. All right, so from here, castles, c5, which I would expect. So I've just kind of learned that in most queen pawn openings, black wants to get c5 or e5, you know, to challenge the white d4 pawn. And this is just the way they normally play. Got to challenge the center in chess, right? So c5 makes sense here. But you can see that this bishop, you know, is blocked. So I actually would not necessarily want to play e4 and open up that bishop. So I am wondering what the middle game plan will be for Pillsbury. I wonder if he'll do more of a knight e5 type plan, h4, or knight e5, f4. I wonder if he'll do that kind of stuff, or maybe even a4. So I guess we'll find out in the coming moves. So after c5, it says black's basic plan is to establish a queenside majority with c5, c4. Oh, interesting. So they're saying that black may create a 4 versus 3 with that move. Yeah, I have learned that that plan can be very annoying. I actually play that way as black against the London system quite often. So it said, you know, he wants to go c5, c4, followed by, you know, b5, b4. And the gain of space and potential past c pawn assures black counterplay. Makes sense to me. So we kind of know what black's ideas are, I guess. I actually didn't expect that move c4, so that's really instructive to me. Okay, and Pillsbury played rook to e1. Okay, and I feel like we're almost done with the opening here. And it actually says this is an inaccuracy that loses time. The rook should just stay on f1 so that later knight e5, f4 can be played like that. Okay. Yeah, because like I was saying, I don't know about e4. Like e4, and then he takes, and then suddenly this bishop is coming alive, so I think I prefer to leave the pawn on e3. Okay, but we'll see what Pillsbury does. So rook e1, c4 was played, and I would expect, ooh, this is my favorite move in chess, if you guys didn't know this. Bishop to b1. I really like this. I play this move every chance I get to play it because the bishop is tucked away and it's just awesome from here. And we have the potential to make a battery. Obviously d3 is not going to happen, but queen c2 might happen. And when the rook is on this side of the bishop, it's actually quite good there. So I'm expecting a battery later. All right, so Tarrasch played a6. So he wants to go b5, I guess, because if he goes b5 right away, we take it, right? Like I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to allow that, so he goes a6 first. And he's definitely playing on the queen side. Okay, so I want to say what I might play here. Let's analyze a little bit. I don't like knight e5 right now because knight takes e5, and we wreck our structure and our center. So I would consider b3. I have to admit, I would consider that. It would challenge the black pawn structure right away, but with b5 coming, you know, I don't think we want to do this. That doesn't look good because then the c pawn becomes a pass pawn. So b3 might not be the best. Yeah, I don't think so. Because even a4 doesn't work. Or does it? Okay, so now I'm thinking b3, b5, a4. And we're attacking this twice. But maybe maybe queen b6 is possible there. Yeah, maybe queen b6. So maybe b3 isn't the way to go. But maybe a4 right away. I would consider a4. And any other moves. I honestly don't know what else to do aside from something like queen c2. Queen c2 is an idea. And then we could potentially take here. But with this knight here, I don't exactly like that yet. So queen c2 seems a little weak. I think I'd go a4. So let's see what Pillsbury played. Wow, he played knight e5. Okay, I thought that was a bad move. But there are complications. Like knight e5, if knight takes e5, pawn takes, the knight's attacked. The knight could come in like this. Takes, takes. 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 I don't know what's going on here. Well, we're about to find out. It says white can't just sit back and watch black's queenside play grow. With knight e5, he occupies a fine central outpost in preparation for a kingside demonstration. Okay, but I'm worried about knight takes, though. He doesn't play it? I wonder why not. Well, one reason might be, I didn't really consider this before, but, you know, if this were to happen, and I'm not using the engine, because, you know, sometimes we have to not use the engine and just think about chess ourselves. I think that's important to do. You know, I have a book that's going to give us some pointers, but I was thinking maybe this pawn is under heavy fire now. And I mean, I would kind of expect the knight to go here. This is kind of what I thought would happen. And then yeah, I think knight takes d5 is possible. Because now this knight's undefended and it's attacked. And if they try to pin us, it's not going to work because that's what check. I mean, and the queen's under attack in general. So they can't really do that. So, yeah, this looks kind of bad, doesn't it? I think they would need to like move the queen and maintain defense of the knight. But I just feel like we have play here. Definitely have play here, right? Like even g3, just trying to kick the queen away is possible. Yeah, I don't know. It's complicated, but I'm going to guess that this is desirable for white after all. So, knight e5. Okay, so let's see what Tarrasch did. He just like continued b5. So he wants to go b4 and attack our knight. Which makes some sense. So if b4, knight a4, that looks kind of annoying. It does look kind of annoying, doesn't it? The knight would just kind of be stuck on the rim with no good prospects, at least not for the moment. Okay. So b5 and Pillsbury played f4. Wow. Reinforcing the center. I feel like I've seen a game of Pillsbury's before where he did something like this. It'll be fun if it was this game. But I think it was years ago, if it is the game if it is what I'm remembering. So this reinforces the center. Now I think it's very, very bad to take the knight because the f-pawn could take. I mean, or the e-pawn, but either way, that pawn on e5 is going to be very strong and displace black's main defensive piece, the f6 knight. So I do like f4, although I have to admit, if it was me in a game, I would have been very hesitant to play this because I'd be like, oh, I already played rook e1. So maybe this plan won't be as good now. But maybe it's necessary anyway. Like I was saying before, I do not think that e4 is correct. At least not right now. Okay, so I'm going to assume that black played b4. Let's see if they did. No, he played rook to e8. I wonder why not. I like b4. Rook to e8. I'm not sure I understand that move. What is that supposed to do? It doesn't give anything. And then Pillsbury played queen to f3. And then knight f8 was played. Oh, that's why. So he was vacating the f8 square for his knight. Wow. Wow, that's pretty interesting, but it does make some sense to me. Because this knight can't really do anything. And that means that these knights are a bit superfluous. So this knight needs to do something else. So this is going to help guard h7, and maybe the knight will come to g6. In the meantime, it opens up things a bit for black. And you know the saying, a knight on f8 and there is no mate. Okay. So I might split this video into 2 parts, because I know this game is about 50 moves. And we're on move 15. So, but you guys know how I roll. We're being thorough and we're learning. Okay, so knight to f8. And Pillsbury played knight to e2, which makes a great deal of sense because b4 is coming. So we might as well move the knight before that happens. So we go knight to e2. So probably we're going to go knight g3. Ooh, yeah. And then knight f5 would be pretty nice, I think. So maybe perhaps that's the plan. Okay, so it says the knight is shifted towards the black king side. And now black played knight e4, blocking the dangerous diagonal, it says. Yeah, our favorite diagonal is blocked. Okay, so let's put ourselves in Pillsbury's shoes for a moment here. How would we continue? The bishop is under attack. I definitely think I would trade. In fact, I have to wonder about knight e4 because this trade looks very beneficial for white. Our pawns in the center are on dark squares. So that means this is our bad bishop. Their pawns are on light squares, especially d5. So this is their bad bishop. So we're trading our bad bishop for their good bishop. This is definitely very desirable. I would definitely take. I don't even want to consider anything else. All right. Although I guess I should just see what this knight's up to. I tell my students this, and one day they'll listen. Anytime a knight jumps in the center, I tell them you should look at every single square that the knight is hitting, even the backwards ones. So let's have a quick look. It's attacking the bishop. Actually, I'm seeing that d2 does look a little bit annoying, but they probably won't have time because we'll be attacking their queen. So like, if bishop takes knight e2, we took a piece. So we'll take a queen, they take our queen with check, and then we take a piece. I don't know, maybe with a pawn. I kind of want to put a rook on g1. Yeah, and then they take back or something, but we should definitely be a material there, right? So we took a bishop, they took a queen, we took a queen, we took a knight, they took a bishop, so we won a piece there, pretty sure. I mean, this move looks ridiculous, but I'm sure it is. Yeah, indeed, we're up a piece, so you can't do that. So that move wouldn't work at all, so I'm guessing he took. Let's see. Yep, bishop takes e7, rook takes e7. Wow, rook takes. I have to admit, I didn't really expect rook takes. It looks kind of weird. So I don't know if that's very good or what. Ooh, and now Pillsbury plays bishop takes e4. They give this move an exclam. Why would this be an exclam? Okay, well, obviously black's going to take, right? When they take, our queen is under attack. The queen is going to come out to the king side somewhere. I'm not sure where, though. Queen h5, maybe. Queen g4. Queen g3. All of those are options. In the meantime, I do feel like black is gaining access to this square. But you know, the knight on g3 will attack that. And f5 doesn't seem like a desirable move for black. It just doesn't. And neither does f6. I'm not sure I like either of those. Although f6 would kick our knight away. But I do feel like that just like weakens stuff kind of badly. You know, this knight might come out here too, by the way. I do think that that is likely. All right, well, I'm not sure I understand what is going on, but definitely d takes e4. So Pillsbury went queen to g3. Okay, so our knight is not going to come to g3. What I expect is that he's going to push f5 and then put the knight on f4. Okay, I like that. Yeah, and then maybe the knight can come to h5, threatening f6. You know, if they start pushing their kingside pawns, then I think we're happy because it's going to create some weaknesses for us to work on. Okay, so queen g3, let's see what Tarrasch did. Okay, so he did go f6. Never play f6, but this is a common idea when there's a knight so nicely stationed on e5. You want to get rid of that knight. You do not want the knight to stay there, right? Wow, and that knight is trapped. So, so Pillsbury's gonna sacrifice maybe. Oh no, he's not trapped. There's g4. So I'm gonna guess that's where the knight goes. Because then knight h6 check is a thing. And so is knight takes f6. So yeah, knight g4 almost certainly. Yep, knight g4. So that's probably the main threat. And so Tarrasch played king to h8, just sidestepping the pin. It does look a little bit tempting to take on f6. But we don't have enough pieces over here yet, so I'm going to assume that that's not what we want to do. But now I'm starting to wonder about the move f5. It looks really good. Because if we play f5, the queen opens up, which is nice. And we gain a square for the knight. And it does feel like stuff is starting to build up on the black king side. So that's my guess. Let's see what he played. He did play f5. Okay. It says cramping black's king side, allowing white's knights and rook an avenue through f4. Okay, that's what I said. And now it is black's turn. He played queen to d7. Okay. So once again, I want to guess the move. So knight to f4 is the obvious move. Looks quite good to me. Yeah, this is getting interesting. The kingside attack is coming, right? Okay, so I will play knight to f4. I mean, you know what other move I think is interesting though is the move d5. It might be just crazy though, but I like the idea of opening up the d file and placing a knight on d4 as well. So, but that seems unnecessary. So, because it is a pawn sacrifice. So if we didn't have this other obvious plan of knight f4, I think I might consider d5, and I think we can keep that in mind. In the meantime, you know, this is going to happen. So the rook on the c file is actually doing an important job, because if they go b4, we could take here. So probably rook c8 is going to happen, and that means black's going to try to play b4. So just so you guys know what's going on. I talk about that like I'm so good at chess or something. I am not, but I'm trying. All right, so queen d7. Wow, he played rook f1. Okay, I like that move. Let's get the rook on a more reasonable square. Yeah, this does prove that rook e1 earlier was a waste of time. So it would have been nicer if the rook had stayed on f1. Wow, and black played rook d8. I'm kind of surprised by that. I thought rook c8 made a lot more sense, because I don't think he wants to go bishop d5, because then there's knight c3. Well, maybe he does. That bishop is terrible. Maybe they do want to trade it. Okay, anyway, it says possibly better was rook a e8. Nobody wants to play rook c8. I don't understand these moves. Isn't rook c8 the logical choice to continue on the queen side? Okay, so probably some stuff is going to happen, and the rook is needed over there. So he went here. Now the downside of this, though, is that the rooks are not, you know, this is a little bit awkward. I do like when the rooks are connected this way. That would free up the queen a little more because the rooks will protect each other. And this other way, when the queen leaves, or if the queen leaves, the rooks might be left hanging. So, okay, wow. Okay, I did not expect this next move at all. But Pillsbury played rook to f4. Wow. Wow, so he's ganging up on the e-pawn. Okay, that didn't occur to me. That is something else that f5 did. You know that? So this is really instructive, I think. I've seen this a little bit before, but not in positions like this, but f5 actually stopped black from playing f5, which would protect this pawn. So by playing f5, we're fixing this pawn on e4 with no pawn to defend it. So we can potentially gang up on it and win it. So I think that's what he's doing. That's why he's doing this. He's probably going to go knight c3 or knight g3, and then maybe even knight f2 to win the pawn. That might be what's going on. I mean, I would have played knight f4, but okay. So very interesting. So I like this. This planet is pretty cool. So, you know, the rook on e8 would have further protected the pawn. That's why they suggested it. So maybe black is going to lose that pawn. Guess we'll find out. So, rook f4, queen d6. Pinning the rook, sort of. I wonder if the queen is about to come out like that. Or maybe the queen, yeah, I don't know. I don't think we care. Like, if we win the e-pawn and they trade queens, I don't think we care about that. So, I'm not entirely sure what... does protect this too. That might be important because, you know, it's very tempting to look at sacks on f6, opening up the king a little, but there's nothing yet, nothing going on. Okay, so queen d6, I don't really understand that move, and Pillsbury played queen h4. So queen h4. Don't worry, he won't get forked because we always have en passant. Oh, but then we get forked this way. So that is a curious move. So could we get out of it? I mean, my intuition's kind of telling me yeah. G5, G5 takes, knight G6. G5 takes, knight G6. I think it's possible there we have queen takes f6. But then if knight takes rook, are we sacking the exchange, or what are we doing there? I'm really worried about this move. I mean, is it just me or is that a fork? So there's probably some crazy way out of this. I mean, we have to move the queen, right? So maybe we don't. Maybe rook takes f6 is a move. Rook takes f6, knight takes h4. Rook takes d6. But the knight isn't attacked. So don't we lose material? So I'm really concerned about this. I'm not sure what's going on. Like, I was thinking here. Oh, that's check. I didn't see that was check. Okay, that's kind of sad. So I guess I mean, I'm wondering if king g8 is a move. But maybe not, because king g8 and there's knight h6. Yeah, that's mate, isn't it? Okay, that's mate. So they actually can't do this. So they'd have to trade. And now we can take with a rook, saving our rook from the wrath of the knight. Okay, so now I understand that. Because I was wondering, yeah, these players are good. So he put his queen there, like, calculating g5. So let's see what actually happened. Queen h4, rook d to e8. Wow. Yeah, so both of them wasted a rook move now. Definitely. So what do we do now? I mean, first of all, I'm worried about, does g5 work now? Because there's been another move. So g5 takes, knight takes. There's still check. There's still check. And if queen takes, rook takes. So g5 doesn't work. And on top of that, are we going to go knight c3 or knight g3 and just pressure that pawn? It does have 3 guys on it. I'd also be tempted to play rook f1, but I think if rook f1, there's b5. Right? Like, we want to meet b5 with rook takes c4. I do believe. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Like, if knight c3, pawn here. I mean, we can't take on e4, can we? Okay, well, let's see what Pillsbury did. He did go knight c3. Okay, so pressuring the e-pawn. Yeah, you know what? If b4, maybe this is the idea. You know, because then we're going to come in. That doesn't look so appealing, right? So he played bishop d5. Yeah, so I think black does want to get rid of that bishop, right? I mean, that bishop's terrible. There's all these light square pawns. That bishop can't do much. So did we take it? I don't know. I'm starting to see some stuff. Because if we take the bishop, the queen comes here. And it's not protecting that anymore. So then, like, you know, this kind of stuff becomes more possible, right? Like takes, check. Doesn't seem to be working yet, but so maybe yeah, I actually think the rook might belong on the c file because we do have to be concerned about this thing. And then that's going to be a passed c pawn. So that's black's counterplay. It's like their only counterplay, as far as I can tell. Okay, so let's continue a little bit. After bishop to d5, it says necessary to defend the e pawn. Okay, I'm confused because it was defending it from the other spot. All right, knight f2. Okay, so Pillsbury is going for that pawn. That is his idea here. Still allowing g5. g5 takes. Knight takes. We don't have queen takes f6 anymore, so I'm really concerned about g5. Right? Like, oh, we do have it because the rook's skirting. Sorry. Yeah, check. Yeah, that's all fine. In fact, now we're attacking the bishop. So that is how we're going to deal with that. So knight f2. And we have 4 guys on that e-pawn. And it's only defended 3 times. So, I mean, are they really going to go like queen c6? It looks like a very sad move. All right. Yeah, they are going to do that. So, but you know, sometimes sometimes your opponent can do this. They can just defend. And then that's when the principle of 2 weaknesses comes in. Like once you create a weakness and all the pieces are tied down to one thing, then you're supposed to create a weakness somewhere else. And when you move all your pieces to the new weakness, the pieces that were defending won't be able to do it as easily. And that is how you win games, or so I'm told. I don't think I've ever done it in one of my games. We might see it here, though, because unless there's another way to attack that pawn, which I don't see. Yeah, I don't see a way to attack that pawn again. If we take the bishop, we lose an attack. We take a defender, but we lose an attacker. So I don't think I like that. Huh. So what do we think he would do here? What would he do here? Okay, I'm trying to calculate what would happen if we just go ahead and take anyway, because sometimes there'll be some reason why it works. So I don't know. I think I am wondering about the idea of g4, g5 though. This could be a thing. Like g4, g5, knight g4. Pretty interesting. Okay. I mean, I would definitely consider playing g4. What else would I consider, though? Don't know. I don't know. I mean, g4 is pretty committal. We're opening up the king. I guess another move I might consider is king h1. Like, what if we slow played this plan? But this, I know this rook's doing a job though, so like here and take here. And maybe a rook would come to the c file and push the pawn. Huh, okay. Let's see what he did. So after queen c6, he played rook f1. Wow. Okay, I am surprised by that. What did Pillsbury see that I'm not seeing? So if we do go g4, g5, and they take, then the rook would be justified. But they don't have to take. Could go like, well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they do have to take. This is kind of interesting. So let's see what happened. It says methodically massing his forces against the king side, and then b4 was played. Okay, so what do we do here? Are we going to take the bishop? Is my question. I think, yeah. I think we take the bishop. So let's see what he did. It says, in view of white's obvious attacking intentions, black must stir up queenside. Or it says black must stir up counterplay. Okay, wow, he went knight e2. You know, this is why he's a good player and I'm just some lady. Because you know what? It makes a lot of sense to me now that this bishop is not good. It's not a good bishop. So we shouldn't take it. And in fact, you know, maybe this knight is going to become awesome. So I actually do like knight e2. And knight e2 actually helps to guard this too. So if, yeah, it doesn't help that much though. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't help that much yet. Okay, but I think I like knight e2, and black played queen a4, so they're attacking a pawn. Yeah, that's fair. They removed an attacker off of e4 also. So we are not ready to capture, I don't think. So I think this is one of those moments where we decide if we want to try to defend or if we decide if we can just attack. Let them do whatever they want on the queen side. But it does seem like, you know, black could go here, here. And then when we take this, and this is getting a little bit scary for sure, right? There's even like queen b1 there. So whatever we do on the king side has to be kind of swift. Knight g4, knight takes f6. Pawn takes, check. G8. Then there's rook g4 check. Ooh, that would be mate. Okay, I think our play is coming fast on the king side too. Like, I was just looking at this move with this idea, and I think it's kind of a valid idea. So if we go here and black does nothing, we could take, check. King g8, although there is other resources like rook g7. But if there, I think we go, rook g4 check. And that would be too late. That would be mate. So mate on g7. But I am wondering if black can possibly play a move like knight d7, protecting against the sacrifice. That might be possible. Although the knight looks pretty horrible on d7. So I think we'd be fairly happy to see that. Yeah. Okay, let's see what happens. Knight g4. Wow, I was right. It indirectly defends the A pawn, it says. I think because of knight takes f6. Yeah. Yeah, it's giving a line here. It's saying question mark, takes. This is what I gave. Check. And I would expect this move because, but I guess there's this and there's this. Oh, they did give rook g7 and then rook g4. Huh, they gave that. They're saying, oh, this is winning because of this. Yeah. And if they guard it with the knight, that doesn't seem right. Something's wrong here. I want to take it with the pawn, but can we do that or not? If we take, rook takes, rook. Oh, the rook's pinned. Never mind. I was thinking that would happen, but the rook is pinned. So that doesn't work. We win. Okay, so yeah, that move queen takes is stopped because of the threat of knight takes f6. Very interesting. Okay, so they did play knight d7. So this is kind of what I was saying. Wow, I'm not as bad as I play. All right, so oh boy. It gives an incredible move here. Wow, well, I am not going to put, maybe I'll show you this move, but I think, I want to stop here because we've analyzed a long time, and I think this has all been very great. And I want to take a break and save the rest for next time. So I will be back with part 2 of this Pillsbury game played in Hastings 1895. You're not going to believe it, but he played an exclam move here. So if you do want to guess the move, I will present it to you tomorrow. I won't make you wait long. So tomorrow when we finish up the game. So thanks so much. And this is Stacia, and I'll see you next time.